Well, hi, I'm Jay Arthur, author of Lean Six Sigma Demystified and the QI Macros. And what am I playing my guitar for? Well, you look at the guitar, and the first electric guitar was actually invented in 1932. It was all aluminum and it had a little round bottom on it, kind of like a banjo, and it was actually called the frying pan. Now that sounds like a crazy thing, but all aluminum, totally cast aluminum. And that was an interesting process because guitars for millennia had been made out of wood and were hollow body and acoustic. And this one guy got this idea at one of the guitar centers to, actually go ahead and add electronics to a guitar so that you could amplify it and play it in a larger stadium. And out of that grew the ability to have rock and roll, to have blues, to have all of the amplified music that we hear today. Simply because somebody said, hey, let's take this acoustic thing here and let's put it together with electronics so we can hear the thing. And if you think about it, the same thing. I mean, Steve Jobs was thinking, we have all this flash storage and I want to be able to carry around all my music. And he wanted that for his daughter. So why not make a little iPod that you can put all of your songs on and carry it around with you in your shirt pocket? This is how things get done, right? People take one thing and merge it with another thing. Well, when I was in the whole software world, we were always doing what was called waterfall development. So we had requirements and design and code and tests and system tests, and software doesn't release, it actually escapes. But the idea behind the waterfall was it was pretty linear, right? And I actually saw Dr. Royce, who coined that term, and he said, the problem was, I thought of it from an engineering standpoint where we were always iterating and cascading and redoing things. Well, if you know anything about waterfalls, they don't back up, they don't iterate, they just come down, right? And so the waterfall metaphor dominated software development for decades. And then back in 2001, there were these software engineers, and they said, this is stupid. And so they coined a term they called Agile software development, which meant, hey, we very quickly, in a couple of weeks, produce some working product that with a customer, so we verify it does what they want it to do, and then we add to that every week, adding more materials, more stuff, more whatever. So we're delivering a working piece of software every few weeks. Now, in many companies now, they deliver working software every day, right? Facebook and Google, right? Amazon, they're all making hundreds, if not thousands of changes a day to make things smoother, faster, more efficient, and everything else for us. And so Agile, I want you to think about how would we take Six Sigma, the old, dogged, slow thing that keeps the way we've always done it, merge that with Agile so we can accelerate the amount of results we get. We accelerate the speed of change so that we accelerate the response we can get from our leadership team by fixing things that shouldn't be broke. All right, so is it possible? And I think it totally is. Because for the last 20 years, I've taught a one-day Lean Six Sigma class. One day. And I teach them how to do value stream maps and spaghetti diagrams in half the day, and the other half of the day using the QI macros, because it's so automated, I can teach them how to do all the control charts, Pareto charts, fishbones, everything else to get them going in terms of solving problems that are in their business, right? I don't know why people spend 4 weeks in training. Now, maybe if you're building rocket engines and spacecraft and, things like that, maybe you need a little bit more robust thing, but most of the United States works in service industries that simply do not need all of that stuff, right? So how do we start becoming agile in the delivery of performance improvements? I'm Jay Arthur, this is how it works, right? Doesn't matter if it was the old frying pan guitar that was the start of things like this Gibson, or if it's something more like the iPod or the iPhone or the whatever. Technologies and things come together to accelerate getting the results we're looking for in the world. I'm Jay Arthur. That's my improvement insight for this week.